Hi, I'm Chris and this is Jane from the House of Science, and we're really excited to just show this fantastic new board game, Invasion Busters, to you. This is the first of two videos. The second one will show more about how the game is actually played, but we just want to give you an introduction and a bit of an idea on how to set up the game. So this is the Invasion Busters teacher manual, which comes as part of your Invasion Busters kit on biosecurity. And this board game is the final, the penultimate activity in the kit. And there's two versions of the game. We'll focus on the version for the slightly older children to start with.
Reflects the biosecurity system as it operates in New Zealand. So we have our overseas pests coming in here, we have our border patrol, what happens at the border. They then move down into pests once they arrive in New Zealand, looking at surveillance, different kinds of surveillance. What happens if you are unable to detect a pest. The numbers of the pests keep increasing from small, medium to large populations. If you're unable to eradicate it, then it becomes widespread and you're unable to get rid of it within the country. If you are able to detect it at these various population sizes, you're able to eradicate it, and it's then dealt with and no longer part of the game.
The key components are these pest cards. There's 14 altogether, and they've been numbered from 1 to 14, and the number reflects how bad these could potentially be for New Zealand. So these are actual pests that current scientists are trying to keep out of New Zealand, which is pretty cool. So for example, the Queensland fruit fly is one of the pests we don't want here in New Zealand, and there's some icons down the bottom that'll become clear later, but this is one of the pest cards. At the start of the game, all these cards shuffled face down on the overseas pests pile, so hopefully they're all overseas. However, one of them has already managed to make its way into the country and has grown into a medium population. Now for each of the pest cards there is a partnering information card, so again we have 14 of these, and each of these cards talks a little bit more about the pest. So for the Queensland fruit fly, there's a little bit of information about what this fruit fly does, how it will affect us should it come into the country. Those cards are not directly part of this game, they're part of the other game that we'll talk about later, which is It's a Trap.
Cards we have here are role cards, different jobs related to biosecurity that you can choose. Insect trappers, entomologists, we have population ecologists, scientists, taxonomists, dog handlers. Each job has a special power. Down the bottom here gives you an advantage in the game. There's one special role card, very important, the force of nature, and the person who chooses this card actually controls the running or manages the game, how it flows. They get to see information about the pests that the other people in the game don't. So this person here is actually the person who controls the flow of the game.
So there's always one force of nature in every game. We have a invasion token which moves around this circle here, and some dice. The red die is used by the force of nature, and the white dice are effectively your biosecurity budget. Think of them as money you can spend to try and keep the pests out of your country, and they can be allocated on the board by each player during their turn, at the start of their turn, anywhere where there is a dice token. So there's 10 locations that you could potentially allocate these dice to, but you only have 5 dice.
There are 5 different 5 sets of the game within the kit, and each game is played with 6 players, and it's a collaborative game, so you're all working together to get the pests out of the country. But you can actually compete with other groups that are also playing the game, and you do this by way of these location cards. So there are 5 location cards in the kit, all different ports around the country. So each group can choose which port they would like to be, and this card sits on the board. So at the conclusion of the game, when you're adding up your scores to see how well you've performed, you can actually compare your scores to the other groups.
Now, all of these icons are also featured throughout the teacher manual, and they link back to activities that are in the kit that the students hopefully have done throughout the week before they attempt this game. So it should all make sense, and the activities link to all the parts of this biosecurity system that the game exemplifies here. That's pretty much an introduction to the game and how to set it up at the start. So pests all go here, except for the first one, which has already made its way into the country. So that's the start of the game, and we'll follow on the next video about how to actually play the game.